Hi everyone, welcome back to this page, which is from the Tales from the Witch's Cottage by Hanna Karlzon, and we were colouring in our candles, and we are just going to continue with this one. Now, I have been pondering colour, and I've decided to go for a blue. I'm not sure if it's quite the right choice, but I think it'll work. It's not Halloween-y, not a colour I associate with Halloween anyway, but I think it'll work. So I am going to use the Zephyr blue, just got to try and find it, and which is almost like a for me it's sort of almost like a indigo, sort of something like that. I'm just trying to find it, sorry, I'm distracted. There it is, Zephyr blue. That's my darkest colour, and then I'm going to use a lighter one. I think the Starry Night, no, Blue Moon. I'm going to use the Blue Moon. Changed my mind so quickly. Blue Moon. So we'll start with the darker colour as we have with these candles. I will come in a tad closer for you. It's quite a long candle though, so I've got masses of space. There we go. And like I have with the others, we haven't got a bit at the top to do like we had with these two that you can't see, the blue and purple. So we're just going to have a look and see where our candle is. So I'm just going to gently shade in those areas and then get to sort of thinking about how to actually colour those bits properly in a minute. Just marking them out at the moment. Now I'm likely to be disturbed. I'm expecting a parcel, but I haven't been told what time it's coming. We used to be told with Royal Mail, when you used to have a parcel, you would get a notification telling you vaguely what time it would arrive. But I have noticed lately that hang on a minute. Sorry, my boy messaging me asking me why his train is so effing late. His words, not mine. But luckily his class is, I think he's got quite a long time until his class. I'm going to make the edge of this one a little darker, like I did with some of the other candles, because it's quite near the edge. I feel our candle's sort of here, and a bit here too. Even a little bit on this one, make this bit darker. Just a tad. And on this one the other way, darker there, maybe a bit darker here, a bit darker here. Just going to darken those up a little bit, just all over evenly. There we go. Now put on our Blue Moon. I'm going to just sharpen my Blue Moon pencil. Yeah, he's trains are all a bit late today, but I think it might be okay. I thought it might break, but I think it's okay. So here's our Blue Moon. As we have with the others, we're just going to do the outline of the dribbly bits and then a bit lighter in the centre. So I'm going to start with this little one, it's a bit easier. Yeah, both boys are on trains at the moment, although one I think should have got off by now, but he hasn't messaged me to let me know he's on the train or anything. But sometimes there's no Wi-Fi on the train, so they don't message me because they don't have free data. I don't think it's worth it. We don't use it enough because you can be quite good when you're out and about. There's usually shops or places where, like, the train usually has Wi-Fi. The university has Wi-Fi. Some shops have it too, and some stations. I think one of my stations one son goes to has it, but our local station doesn't, it's too small. So I am just going around the edges and then fading towards the middle. Just a nice gentle process, relaxing, fun. I'm just going to do it on each of these all the same. Yeah, so I don't think it's worth paying for data because we rarely make phone calls. I made one to my husband the other day. It's the first phone call I've made on my phone for about 6 months, you know. And I we send about 4 text messages a year, and I don't use data on my phone very much because, you know, the supermarket has data, some of the shops in the town centre do, and if I need to send a message or pick up a message, I'll just go and stand near one of those shops and use theirs. You know, I just think, well, I'm not paying for a plan. The cheapest data, the sort of cheapest plans you can get are so expensive, and with 4 of us, we just have to learn to be a bit more inventive, because I just refuse to pay. I can afford it, probably. I mean, it would be a lot of money, to be fair, for 4 of us. And often it's £25 a month, it's £100 a month. It's just a lot of money when I actually tend to spend about £5 every 4 months on my phone. Well, yeah, so less than £1 a month, really, probably a lot less. And I might be £5 to £10 a year. And my boys top up a little bit more often, but still not enough to make it worth getting a package. So we just don't. We just don't use them enough. Husband probably uses his a bit more, but he's actually got a work mobile that sometimes he can use for things, but I don't know. Anyway, but so there we go. He yeah, he's the one that probably might benefit from one, but there we go. It's just a lot of money. I don't know how people afford it, to be honest. I mean, I think some companies have family packages that are a bit cheaper. I'm just rubbing, my hands are a bit cold. Yeah, some companies have cheaper family packages and things like that. And I know some people don't have a landline, so they save that money. But ours is all tied in with our broadband deal, so I don't know that it costs us that much. We do a sort of free calls deal on our landline, so we don't pay anything extra for calls. So I always use my landline to make calls, like I was this morning, on hold twice. But that was okay. I wasn't on hold that long. I was expecting to be on hold a lot longer. You know how it is, you sort of get yourself prepared to be on hold forever, and then you're not. So it was all good. But yeah, I was trying to organise something for my son, but luckily they were happy talking to me about it. Some companies won't. You know, you have to talk to them on the special permission and all that sort of thing, but this company were okay about it. I think they deal with a lot of parents because it's a student facility. A lot of people apply for it before their children start university, so they're children. But we hadn't looked into it before. But it's sort of disability help, really. But it can be funded by, it's funded by Student Finance England or whatever it's called, and you can get certain help. So, but the type of help he needs, I don't know if it's going to cost any money. You know, I was hoping he could get extensions on his assignments because of his brain fog and things like that, but we've been sent through this chain of events to go to this tech company who can give people laptops and various software and stuff like that, but he's got a really good laptop, he doesn't need that. And so I just don't know quite what help. I mean, it might be good if he could have a sort of mentoring help to get him motivated and stop him being so distracted, but I don't know whether he would want that, because he would have to have meetings with someone and stuff, and I think he would rather just be at home. But I don't know, we'll see what comes of it. But I think we probably won't get a meeting for ages. It looked like there were no vacancies for ages, and then none of them were on the days that he was available, so we'll wait and see what happens. If he can just get a little bit of help. I mean, the whole idea was just to try and get him an extension on his work, so if he had any health issues or problems, he could just have a little bit longer. Now, where we've done the candle, although I can see that it's a different colour, it's really not dark enough. So I'm now going to go back to my Zephyr blue and just mark that up a little bit darker. I know on our first candle we went over it in the blue we used for the candle, and I might do that as well. But I just want a really dark base in there so that we can tell it apart from the rest of the colours. There we go. So, oops, if you'd already done yours quite dark, you might not need to do that. So here's our blue moon. And I'm just going to put it on top, and hopefully these sections will still stand out a little bit. I might have to go back over the top again. This paper's quite good in this book in that you can layer and layer. So we're going to do that. I'm going to layer it back on top. But I can see that it's darker. I just want to do a little bit more with the Zephyr blue. Probably being a little bit fussy, but that's okay. Now we've done all our candles, it is time to look at our candlesticks, that's what they're called, isn't it? Candlesticks, right. Now we've got 4 different designs, and I thought I would go with the silvery colour, partly because I thought it would be a little bit easier, and partly just thought it would look a bit, I felt it was a better colour. I don't know why, to go with what we've done, because we've got a cold colours rather than warm. This is warm colour, but more cold colours, so I thought it would match better. Now in our greys, this is my swatch chart here, we've got an awful lot of brown shades here. Now to create silver, we really want something that's a little bit of a cold colour. So we have this gunmetal, it's a very good colour, but it's very light. So I'm going to grab that. I often find the greythorn is quite good as well, and that's a little bit darker. The cobblestone looks quite good. What should we go for? And the medium grey. Let's go for the medium grey and the gunmetal. Maybe that'll work. I'm just going to have a there's the gunmetal, and there's the medium grey. Okay, now I've also picked out my washed purple. Sometimes a bit of a bluey purpley colour within a metal can really add to it, but I may not use it, so I'll have a think about that one. So we're going to work through these. What I'm going to do is make it a little bit easier on myself and do all of the medium grey bits first, then come in with the gunmetal and finish off. So it'll be a lot of one colour and then a lot of another colour. For me, I find that easier. So let's get started with our medium grey, and I'm going to put some here and then fade like that, and the same here. Now here we have these loops. Now you could put gemstones in the middle of there, but I'm just going to put my darkest grey colour in here, and then these loops I'm just going to leave, and then we'll put the gunmetal in there, and the same as here, we'll use the gunmetal for that, and hopefully it'll work. And then we'll use the gunmetal here. Now yes, again these you could colour as gemstones, but I'm just going to leave them as silver. I want my whole candlestick to be silver. Obviously you might want to put some gemstones in. I would match them to the colour of the candle if I was going to do that. So you know, but it is up to you. Again, just putting my darkest grey in this space. I think I'm going to have to sharpen it in a minute. Oh, I coloured that in too much. Should have left a bit more of a gap in the middle. Now I could have raised that, but I think I'm just going to leave it. We'll leave those drop down bits. Again, you might want to do those in as a gemstone. Now we have these sort of leaf looking like items here. I'm going to put, again, these are going to be in my silver. Put a little bit here and here and here, and then we're going to go in with our lighter colour when we get around to using that. There we go. Now on the edges of these, the idea of leaving little white areas is that can tend to make your eye think there's some shine and hopefully make it look a bit more metallic. Now some people do like to use a metallic pencil or a metallic pen, and that's fine, but I don't always find them that effective, and particularly a pen would be difficult with all these black lines everywhere. You'd have to make sure you left the lines showing so that it sort of made sense. That would be quite difficult, I think. So I prefer to try and give the illusion of shine with my pencil, regular pencil. Metallic pencil does have some shiny pigment in it, so that can be good. Black Widows don't do metallics. I have a few different metallic brands: Hanna Karlzon, Shaw and Marsh. I've got two Hanna brands actually. I've got one Derwent, and there's a few in my Chromaflow set, and a few Prismacolors, a few Polychromos. You know, I tend to, if I use them, I use them for a whole picture, because I think they're so unique that I feel they don't always work together with other more regular pencils. Now, cold hands. I'm going to do in here, in all these, in just a dark splodge, but to sharpen my pencil. There we go. I think I might have to put my wrist warmers on. It's a bit chilly. I'm getting used to the cooler weather. It's lovely. I feel much, much more energised when it's colder. It sounds weird. I mean, some people don't. They don't want to move. They just want to sit under a blanket. And I can understand that too. But when it's too hot, I don't want to move because I get too hot. So I'm sort of the opposite, really. There we go. Now we're going to start this one. I'm going to do very similar type things with this one. I was thinking about maybe doing these all in different colours, but we've got a lot of different colours in our candles. I just figured that I would do them the same, and it would be a bit easier as well. So that was my thinking on it anyway. I'm sort of looking out to see whether my boys are on the train or anything, but they aren't. They aren't messaging me, so who knows. Just hope my son gets to his 1:15 lesson. It's 1:05 at the moment. But if he's a bit late, that's fine. They don't mind too much if you're a bit late. I mean, I've heard them say sometimes that some people have been like hours late, you know. You won't be that late. Now this bit is quite interesting. It's quite intricate. Yeah, I'm going to go around the edge, slightly fade towards the middle. Yeah, he did miss a class once because his train was so late. He'd only caught the last half hour of the lesson. He just didn't want to walk in that late. I can't blame him. Yeah, there were people playing on the train line. They had to get the police out to remove them, and the trains couldn't move. Oh, silly people. So they were just stuck. It was kids apparently, not teenagers. Anyway, so he was very delayed that particular day. Now this might look a little odd, but we're going to come back in with the lighter grey and sort of put it, make it good, as it were. Finish it off, I suppose. But and he missed one other class. Oh yeah, he went to a class and his teacher didn't turn up, and he was so annoyed that he didn't go to the next one because he wasn't sure whether it would run, because it was the last one of term and the essay had been handed in, and there was just nothing about whether the class was running or not. It's just like, I'm not going, I'm going to work on my other assignments. And I went, you know what, I think that's a really mature, sensible decision. I think I might have done the same. I probably wouldn't actually, I would have gone in, because when I was at uni I loved going in, I was always well ahead of my work, etc. But he was struggling a little bit to get his work done, so I was like, yep. And then he was ill one day, I think, yeah, last Christmas we all had COVID, that's right, and he missed a class. That might have been that one actually, I'm sure he's only missed 2. And his brother went in because he had an exam. And, oh, that must have been hot. Oh, I don't know. Because I thought his exams were after Christmas. I don't remember. But yeah, we had COVID just before Christmas and I couldn't get all my Christmas shopping done in time. It was a bit of a disaster. But people understood. But I didn't get enough presents. So when we had a sort of family get together, I had to, like, my nieces, they both had boyfriends at the time, and I had presents for the girls but not for the boys, so I had to just take a bit of the girls' present. It was just some socks that I put in with the girls' presents. I was going to get the boys some sweets and I didn't have time, so I just ended up giving the girls' socks to the boys. I think the boys ended up giving them to the girls anyway, so it didn't matter. But you know, I needed to give them something and I just hadn't been able to go out shopping because we had like a deadline, I guess. Oh, my son's just messaged to say he's in class. Oh, that's brilliant news. I just typed brilliant in on my tablet and the autocorrect thought I typed gerrymandering. How? Oh, and I've just had a message back from Novellini. Novellini are the company that manufactured our shower door, and there are some screw caps missing, and the showroom lady, sales lady sort of thing, asked them to send us some, but we haven't had them yet, so I thought I would chase them up, and I couldn't work out how to, so I went onto their website and it was a bit rubbish. The only way you could get into the shop is if you had a password. It was only really for like showroom reps, it isn't for like just general public, I suppose. So I messaged them on their social media and they got back to me. I don't know if it was just a standard message, but it said, we can't help you here, please phone this number. So, oh, yep, I'll happily phone a number. So when I finish this, I'll give them a little ring, see what I can, see what info I can get. I've got a couple of questions for them actually. So I'm just sharpening up my pencil again. So I'm quite excited that I've got a way of contacting them myself, because although she's very helpful at the showroom and everything, you know, I can't keep bothering her all the time to go back. It's going to go nice and dark down this stem part and then fade towards the middle. Now, you might wonder how I decide what bits to do and what colour. It's just a whim. I just do it. I just get on with it. And I think it's practice, to be honest. Because obviously there's a confidence about it. you know, you might spend a while pondering, what should I do for this? What colour? How far should I take my colour along? How many layers should I do? That sort of thing. But I think because I've been doing it so long, I just know what's going to work, really. So as I say, it's just a confidence thing. I'm leaving that quite wide. I'm going to put some of the light colour in there. So it's, yeah, it's just practice, really. And yeah, as I say, confidence, because it can be scary. I'm totally with you. Worrying about ruining a book and or doing it wrong, making mistakes, you can't, you know. But I am so used to making mistakes that I just don't worry about it anymore. And sometimes I can work out how to correct it anyway. Other times I just turn the page and carry on. Now this one I'm going to go around the edge again like I did on this one here. Hopefully it'll come together once I use my other colour. Yeah, so my boys have got lessons about an hour apart today. One of them, oh, I've got a message from the other one now saying he's on the train. Because, yeah, their lessons are about an hour apart, or maybe even an hour and a half apart. No, an hour apart. So they didn't get the same train because the trains run every hour. So we could get a slightly later one. I made them both a lunchbox. One of them wasn't up. One of them doesn't get up and the other one does, sort of thing. Right, here is our gunmetal. So we're going to start again over here and work through just developing those areas. So here I'm just going to extend this colour a little bit into the middle. Now I want to leave some white so it can look shiny, but I need to get some colour down. This is really faint. What colour was I using already? Yeah, I think I'm not going to use this. I'm going to switch it out. I'm going to use the greythorn. The greythorn is slightly darker. I think it will show up a little bit more and just be there for what I want. This one, I'm just going to go around the edge. Yeah, that's better. I can see it. It may not show up on camera, the difference, but for me, I need to be able to see it a little bit. There we are. So I'm trying to leave like a light area just all the way down the middle of this. Now these loops, like these, I'm going to colour at the top and a bit at the bottom and leave a little bit so that it looks like we've got a little bit of shine on them. Like that. And then these I'm just going to go around the outside, try and leave the middle a little bit lighter, but they're very small. I don't think I achieved that on any of them, to be honest. These leaves I'm just going to go up, just leave the very tip light. Okay. And these two, just take it further to the centre and leave a little gap. These ones, like these, a little gap there. And hopefully it can start looking a little bit like it's shining in places. I'm just going to tidy this bit up, although if yours was neat, you might not need to go over that bit. So around on these. Putting a layer on top of here can just make it a little bit darker so that the leaves stand out a little bit more. Yeah, all good. Just checking for messages. But one's in class, he's hopefully not going to message me now. Although he sometimes does, because he gets a bit cross. One of them's having, the one that's doing accounting is doing Python programming today, which he is cross about, because he doesn't want to do programming. Or else he would have done computers, but it's a way of analysing data. And I think the other one is learning about operating systems today, but I'm not entirely sure what his module is. I didn't look it up. He's very difficult to talk to when he's sitting at his desk, because he's got his headphones on, he's watching a video, so he can't hear me. If I do the best you can with these, they're really small. If basically putting a little dot at the top and one at the bottom and hoping there's a little gap, but I don't know if there is. And if I ask him to stop, he shouts, he gets, you know, I can't hear you, I'll turn it off, no, listening, you know, all that. So but at meal times he comes down to the kitchen, leaves his phone behind, and we can have the most amazingly fantastic conversations about all sorts of things, and it's brilliant, and he's lovely. But once he gets involved in his computer, and that's it, he doesn't want to know, he doesn't want to talk to me, he, you know, he's just not interested, and it makes it difficult work-wise, because he's got a video playing all the time when he's trying to do an essay, which I think is wrong, but he says he gets stressed otherwise. I don't know what the answer is, so I mean, as long as he gets his work done, that's good, but I really feel he's not reaching his potential because he's not fully engaged. Like yesterday, he had a whole day to start work on an essay, and he said, I'm going to write 200 words, and he only managed 170 because he was distracted, and his dad was here, husband was here, and I said, look, I'm going to do some work, keep an eye on him. What I'm trying to do here is extend it so that we've got a light gap right in the middle. Try and make sure he's concentrating, you know. But husband's like, oh, he just shouted at me. I was like, I know, you have to be prepared for that, you know. He gets irritable when he's working. The husband wasn't up for that, so it all lies on me to try and do it, which is something I found quite stressful last term. But at the moment I'm okay, I'm not stressed by it because we're very early, we've got no pending deadlines until December apparently, so that's okay. Sometimes I just wish I could do it for him, because I know that I could write, the essay he was writing yesterday was comparing two operating systems on different criteria. I could write that, and it would be really boring, and I would find it very dull. I could do it I think I could write it in 2-3 days, even though I know nothing about it. So you sort of think, oh, I could just do it. Obviously I wouldn't, but it's like, why is it taking you so long to write such a small amount? Because you're not fully concentrating. But my other son was moaning because he had to go into uni tomorrow when he doesn't normally. And I said, you know, when you start work, you'll be going in every day, all day. He said, yeah, but that's expected. I wasn't expecting to go in, and that's why I'm annoyed. And his personal tutor has set up a Teams meeting for after his class tomorrow, and he'll be at least 15 minutes late, and then he said, I just want to come home and go on the train, I don't want to attend it, don't need to. It's up to you. I said, have you sent an apology, an explanation? He's like, no, I just got an invite, so I'm just not going to go. Okay. Right, we're getting through this one now. Now you could achieve what I'm doing here with just the first pencil. You probably don't necessarily need to use the second one, but I think it's a little bit easier to get the sort of contrasting colour. I'm going to leave the tip pale on this one. with using 2 shades of colour, and you could even go really dark on the edges and use a I think I'm just going to have to shade this in, it's so small. You could go really dark and use like a black or a dim grey or something, but oh, I've got an itch. But I tend to like it a little bit lighter. Problem is when it comes to thinking about a background, because if I do something too dark, because this is so light, it could just go into all these spaces and cover over the grey that I've done. I hadn't thought about that before, so that could be an interesting challenge for me. I've got this idea for a background that's just come to me actually. Yeah, this one. Just going to colour over those, darken that bit. Yeah, see, I'm thinking, I'll share my idea. I'm thinking about a brick wall, maybe, template that I've got. I could do for a bit of the background, but we also might want some smoke from the candles. Now try and extend this bit so that you leave a little bit of a gap in the middle where you can. Oh, another itch. Don't notice that you get itchy when you're not recording and you have to stop to scratch. I bet I get just as itchy when I'm not recording, like I just have an itch on the side of my nose. But anyway, there we go. Right, so let's come out and just have a little look and think. Here's our page. Now you could just leave it like that. Now we've got these little circles and lines, which I would do in a gold pen or a sparkly gel pen or something, but you could just leave it. But I feel like I need to do a little something, so I'm just going to move my pencils away a little bit out of the way and oops, grab my soft pastels. Let's just move my tablet there. Right, let's just, so here are my soft pastels. Now let me have a look at my template. Yeah, so I've got this brick template. You can get these on Amazon. And what I'm going to do is to do a brick wall first and then some smoke on top, and I don't know how well it will work. Right, let's grab a little cloth. Now what colour for the brick? Well, I want something quite light because I want to put grey smoke on top. So I'm going to try this colour here. Can you see? It's like it's almost like an apricot-y peachy colour, and I'm going to use that for my bricks. You want to make sure you line yourself up with the edge of the book and just pop it through like that. Takes a little while, and I find the stencils, when I used to use a disposable cloth with this stencil, it used to shred the cloth a bit, but now I use this one that is washable or not disposable. Seems a little bit more resilient, which is probably what I would expect really. Now whether I do go ahead with the smoke or not will depend on how this looks when I finished. Now I am thinking that this isn't going to be brick all the way down, because they're not going to be like floating in the air. They're probably going to be sitting on some sort of table or something. So I think once I get nearer to the bottom of each one, nearer to the bottom of the page. I mean, I'm going to have to sort of put a wooden table in or something rather than all these bricks. Now what I am trying to do is to not go over anything that I've covered in pencil, and I find it'll be easier with the stencil here. It sort of guides me a bit. Oh, I had to move my hand. That was a challenge. Try not to slip the stencil. Now some people stick the stencil to their page with a bit of masking tape. It's a very good idea. Also make sure that you have some paper behind the page, as I have here, because otherwise it can get quite messy and you can get stencils down the side of the book. And whoop, I just moved it. I've got cramp in my arm, so I'm just going to move my arm before I relocate it back to the correct-ish position. Whoop, there we go. I don't get too worried because I'm doing each individual brick and it's quite faint. Now some people will do a stencil like this with a bit of pastel, and then they'll go over it with pencil. It's an option you could do. It's not an option I'm going to do. It's a lot of work. I think the pastel will be fine. I was talking to an artist at an art exhibition the other day, and she was saying she hates pastel so much. It's interesting. She's actually an art teacher as well, but she doesn't like it. She uses oil paints, which I don't like because the smell of the turpentine I cannot abide. She said she's got a really sensitive sense of smell. I have to ask her how she copes with the smell of the turpentine. Maybe she uses a non-smelly one or something, and a thinner or cleaner for her oil paints that doesn't stink. I don't know what she might do. She must have some method. Right, now we finished. I finished this. I'm going to pull it off. It's quite faint. And I'm going to move it across to here to finish off this edge. I need to try and make sure I sort of line it up as best I can, like that, and just go down on this little edge bit. Now if you don't have a brick stencil, then you could just use this colour or this sort of colour to just imply a rendered wall or a painted wall without having to worry about actually putting the bricks on. You could draw the bricks on and actually colour them in pencil. I do have a tutorial teaching you how to do that, but it's a lot of work on such a large area. So, okay, now I've got quite a lot of dust down on this page. I'm just going to brush it off and it's gone, which is good, a relief, because I don't want it on there. Now I'm just going to dust this off, see how it's looking. It's quite light, very light in fact. I'm not sure if it's really showing up that much. Do I want to put much more on? A little bit more. I think I'm going to go down to about here, where that sort of candle there, that's wonky. Sort of down to about there. Oops. It's looking a bit dirty, some of the page now, where the pencil is sort of smudging into the pastel. But I'm going to do my best to just finish it off here. There we go. Now I'm going to do this sort of table. Now we've got a few gaps up here. I'm not going to worry about it. Table. The browns are up here. I'm going to take this brown, I think. It's quite dark actually, and just swish a bit about. It's not going to be too dark, too much, just the best I can with a little light touch, really, just to sort of give a little impression like that. There we go, so they're not floating. Now I don't think I'm gonna, yeah, maybe I'll just do a little bit of smoke. So we've got greys here, these are all quite pale, I think. Maybe that's okay. So a little bit of grey, maybe just a bit here, or a little swirl like that. Like that, little tiny swirl of grey. And now I'm going to do my gold. So let's put these away so I don't knock them all over the floor. It's my favourite trick. Right, that's that. Let's put the template over there for a minute. Right, and the pencils are pens. I'm going to use a metallic one. Now my metallic yellow gold is vanished, so it looks like I'm using this one. What I'm going to do is take this piece of pastel-y paper out, get rid of that one, fold it in half so I can lean on it, and then I'm going to use the pen. This is number 554, by the way. You'll see it's quite coppery, which is the one I was hoping for. But you can choose whatever colour you wish. Just making myself some space to lean. I think I need to open this paper out. I don't want to lean on there with my cardigan. This is an old comparison swatch chart that I made. I usually make one, guess what might work, swatch it out, and then try again, because it's never quite right. So I have this as the scrap paper. I always reuse all my printer paper. It's quite good for going behind pages. Now, if you're colouring and leaning against paper, you don't want to have it anything on either side. So what I do is, if I've got two bits of scrap paper, I face to face the print if they're blank on the back. Oh, it's a very loud train. Let's just move down a bit. Let's move across to this little one. So I find this quite relaxing. I'm not very good at using pens. Not very confident, but if I've just got a little bit to do or a line to follow, I'm okay. But I wouldn't colour a whole page in a book like this with a pen. I've done it for mandalas and things, but I really wouldn't know what to do with pens for like, as I say, a whole page. I've done backgrounds with them too. Different to or colouring in details and things. It's nice to have some pens to do bits and pieces with. Now we've got one down here, and we're back up here. But yeah, my one son's got work due in quite soon, but he hasn't started. He says he can't start yet, he hasn't got the information. But I know that he'll get it done, because he will come and he'll work in the evening, he'll just get it done. My other son, difficult to motivate him really. I'm sort of thinking maybe once he does his placement year, he'll then find it so easy compared to that he'll just get on with it, but maybe not. I mean, I guess it's just because I'm just not used to procrastinators. Even though my husband is one, I sort of leave him to it because that's up to him. Well, I've gone quite off the line there, but with my boys, I've really tried to stop them being procrastinators, because I find it so much better to just get jobs done right away, and then they're done and you don't have to think about them anymore. But you know, and I find it very stressful when there are outstanding jobs. It's odd this morning. Got up for breakfast and husband brought the washing down, which I hadn't asked him to do, and he went, "Oh, there's still washing all over the areas." I was like, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, it might be dry. I'll have a look at it later." And he said, "Oh, I'll put the washing on anyway then." And then he said, "Oh, the dishwasher needs emptying." I was like, "Yeah, I know. I've got to make 3 lunch boxes. I'll you know." And he went, "Oh, I'll do it later." Okay. And so made lunch boxes. He said, "I need my breakfast first." I was like, okay. He had breakfast, I had breakfast. One son was up having breakfast, and then he started doing the dishwasher, made the son help, and the washing finished, and which was a bit later obviously, and he was like, "Oh, I'll so we emptied the washing machine, but he then went, "Oh, here you are, this stuff is what needs to go upstairs." Didn't think about doing that as well. I was a bit confused. I think it's the whole procrastinating ADHD type thing. I'm going to bring it closer so you can see the very faint pastel in the background. Sorry, the light is blinding. Maybe that's an easier angle for you. There you go. So there is the finished page. But yes, I was just a bit confused by you do some of the washing and then just expect me to do the rest without, you know. I know I do. Anyway, bit of a gripe. But there we go. There's the page. I've had lovely fun doing that. So I hope that gets you a little bit Halloween-y thinking. You know, as I say, I don't really do it, but it's quite a fun one to do, isn't it? So there we go. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a really super day and happy colouring.